friends! Welcome to our last week of new learning about tide pools. This week we're going to talk about a family of creatures that live in tide pools that have stinging tentacles. So if you've opened up your packet, then you already know that you have this great page that talks about 3 different types of creatures that live in tide pools. There are sea anemones, sea urchins, and sea stars. Now, if you heard the book from Mrs. Holtz about sea stars, some people like to call them starfish, but they're not fish. We call them sea stars. So this week, again, I'm going to show you how to be a researcher and find out information with the tools you have. So we use Get Epic to research all the time. And this week, I'm going to research sea urchins with you. And then I'm going to encourage you to research sea stars and sea anemones. Here we go. I'm going to go to Get Epic, which you can find on our webpage, and I'm going to type in sea urchin. And it's okay if you don't know how to spell that because it's right on your worksheet. And when I hit go, I'm going to see a lot of nonfiction books come up. Scroll down, and I really liked this book that was called Sea Urchins right here, but there was also some other great ones. Like this one's called Spiny Animals. Let's find that good one. We're going to start with the Sea Urchin book to do our research, and if you want to come back and read more or reread this book to get more information, you can find it on Epic. So I'm going to use all my reading strategies by using pictures and words together to gather lots of new information. Sea urchins are ocean animals. They come in many colors. Sea urchins live on the ocean floor. They can also live on rocks or coral reefs. Sea urchins are covered with sharp spines. They have a hard shell under their spines. A sea urchin's shell is left behind after it dies. So this is a live sea urchin. This one is the shell that is left behind. Now this part's really cool. Sea urchins have hundreds of tube feet. That's that bold word right here. Tube feet. Each one has a tiny sucker on the tip. So each one of these that's coming up has a tiny little sucker. Let's find out why. Sea urchins use tube feet to breathe in water. Sea urchins use their tube feet and spines to move. Remember, those pokey part are the spines, and those, let's flip back and look at the tube feet again. The tube feet, they don't look as sharp, do they? They look maybe a little more wiggly like a worm. So they use those together to move. Their suckers also help them move. They pull the sea urchin along the ocean floor. Sea urchins move slowly. We're finding that's true about a lot of tide pool creatures. Sea urchins move slowly in search of food. Sea urchins eat seaweed, small animals, and a kind of a kind of ocean life called algae. We've learned about algae, haven't we? That's the small plants. Now I'm going to use this diagram here. It's pointing to a part of the body. It's pointing to it and saying it's the mouth. A sea urchin's mouth is on the bottom of its body. 5 teeth, here they are, scrape food into its mouth. So this is a sea urchin that's flipped over. We're looking at the bottom, and they have just 5 teeth. Some fish and animals, such as sea otters, like to eat sea urchins. Wow, I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how he works around to not eat the spikes. Or maybe he eats the spikes. I think I might research sea otters next. Sea urchins can hide in rocks or sand. They use their spines to dig. Man, they have a lot of uses for spines and tube feet. That would be fun to write about today. Some sea urchins have poison in their spines. So we've read about poison in some other animals before, and we know that that's a defense, right? It keeps them from getting hurt. It says they can sting fish or animals to try to scare them away. Sea urchins can grow as wide as 12 inches. That's the same as 30 centimeters. So at school we have those big long rulers. Those are 12 inches. It's about as tall as your paper, a little bit taller than this paper. That's how wide they can grow. Sea urchins can live a long time. Some are more than 100 years old. Okay, I wanted to show you a really cool feature of our Get Epic books. Well, the glossary is a great part too, because you can find out lots of things about words that are inside the books so that you can learn even more. But if I go past this almost done part and I say finish book, or I can start the quiz. You can go on and read this book, and when you hit start quiz, it will ask you questions to see if that book made sense to you and if you learned some great things from it. So I'm going to click it just to show you. Okay, so I'm going to tell him, start the quiz. Oh, and it's going to ask me questions. Sea urchins are they ocean animals? Are they animals that live on land? Or sea urchins come in only one color? I'm going to choose which one is true. Okay? So I'll let you do that on your computer. But it's a fun way to check if you understood the book. Oops. So I'm going to click Finish Book. And I'm going to come right back here. And I wanted to show you the cover one more time. This is the book that we read together. And I want to encourage you to be researchers. I want you to find some books at your house or talk to people that you know about all of these neat creatures that are called cnidarians. I know that it starts with a C, but it's called cnidarian. And all of these creatures have stinging tentacles. There's the sea anemone, the sea urchin that we learned about together, and the sea star. So go off and do some research to see what you can learn about sea anemones and sea stars. Okay? And then send us a picture of your work because we want to know what you're researching and learning about. So thank you for being researchers and scientists with me this week, and we're so proud of all the hard work you're doing, and I hope you're as excited about these tide pool creatures as we are. See you soon, friends. I almost forgot. I wanted to tell you, in case you weren't already excited about going to research sea stars, I needed to share that sea stars eat in a very gross way. I'm not going to tell you how because I want you to research. But if you find out how, will you post and tell your teacher about it or write about it in your writing and share with us? All right, off you go, researchers.